You guys played, I guess, a near perfect game on offense last year against Montana. Which said that was, played a big role in the outcome. So, you think those principles apply again, this year, and maybe just talk about the focus of the offense heading in, knowing what it needs to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, last year we were able to establish a run game early on, and we only completed a few passes. But we were able to run the ball effectively, and that played a huge role in the game.
Mitch, talk about this rivalry 3 or 4 years, and I know that your dad played at Montana, maybe recruited by Montana a little bit. What does it mean to be a senior now, and talk about your experience in this rivalry the last 4 years?
It's been a great experience. I don't know if there's a better rivalry that I've been to than this one, and I'm looking forward to one last opportunity come Saturday. It'll be a great atmosphere here in Bozeman.
We had talked about it briefly that there is no playoffs in the future for this team. Last year you played the role of spoiler in Missoula. You have the opportunity to do that again. Are you aware of that? And what does that aspect of the game look like for you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, without playoffs being an opportunity for us, this is our playoff game, and for all of us seniors, we want to go out on top, and a victory on Saturday would be pretty special for us.
You were relegated to mostly blocking last year. You mentioned only a couple pass completions. Did that matter to you last year?
No, I would have selfishly liked to catch a few passes, but if we're going to win the game and I have to block 60, 70, 80 plays, I'll do that happily.
What does this mean that this is your last game to you personally?
It's crazy. This experience has gone by so quickly, and to put the pads on one more time Saturday is gonna be a lot of fun. I need to cherish every moment of it.
I know the added emotion to Cat-Griz, but also the added emotion to Senior Day. Can you talk about that aspect also playing into this game?
It'll be a lot of fun for us seniors to have one last chance in Bobcat Stadium, and I can't thank Bozeman, Bobcat Nation enough for everything they've done the past few years.
Could you maybe explain what is the importance of winning maybe twice in a row in terms of the rivalry and where it's at with just overall you look at the record between the two teams and maybe kind of developing that bit of the Bobcat of the rivalry.
Yeah, it's huge to be able to win 2 in a row and break the streak of games at home. I think Coach Cho mentioned the last time we won in Bobcat Stadium was 2005, and to be able to do that would be awesome.
Does it mean anything to that in terms of where the rivalry is at in terms of maybe gaining that respect and maybe trying to even things out a little bit?
I don't know. I think at this point, you want to win every time you get an opportunity against them, and that's what we're focused on.
Can you describe just that feeling of winning last year? What it was like?
Yeah, it was indescribable. I was fortunate enough to win a few state championships in high school, and that feeling last year walking around the stadium with the trophy afterwards was 10 times better than that.
We've talked a lot about how this team wants to establish the run first throughout this entire season, and even last season. Going into last year's game, was that the game plan to run it that much, or will it be similar this year?
Last year that was definitely the game plan going in. I think since Chris has developed as a passer, over the offseason through the course of this season, we'll definitely look to throw the ball because that'll open up more run game.
What have you seen out of Chris so far early, this week?
He's been really focused. I think Chris has a different mindset this week, and he talked about last year his focus was different, and he played a great game, and it's going to take that kind of effort this week to do it again.
Go ahead, Greg.
You're 1 touchdown shy of tying the career record here. Is that on your mind at all? Is that something that you would like to do in your last game?
If it happens, great. But at this point, I'd rather go out with a win on Saturday and win this one than break the record. But if it happens, it'd be pretty cool too.
Personnel-wise, what have you seen out of Montana on film?
They have a really good defense. I think their front seven's their strength, and they have a really athletic secondary as well. So they're going to definitely pose a challenge for us come Saturday.
Do any specific players pop out?
It's funny. I played with Connor Strom and James Banks in high school, and watching their game, it's pretty similar. But those two definitely stick out just because of my relationship with them.
How about can you talk about your experiences in the state of Montana, maybe outside of football, what your time has been like in just this state in general through college?
It's been unbelievable. The relationships, friendships that I've made with other students, faculty, it's something I'll cherish for the rest of my life.
Coach Joe talked about the pressure that they like to bring. Talk about kind of preparing for that and what you guys need to do to sort of attack that.
They do bring quite a bit of pressure compared to some of the teams we faced this season, and it's going to take a lot of focus and a great week of preparation for our scout team to emulate that.
On the added emotion of Cat-Griz this week, but also senior day for you, how much is this Saturday going to mean to you and your career?
It's going to mean a lot. I mean, it'll be the last game I play, last time I put on the uniform, and the most fun game you can play. It's going to be a great memory. It's going to be an honor to play in that game. It always is, every year. So I'm hoping to go out on a high note.
And growing up in Montana, experiencing the rivalry your whole life, how would you describe it to someone who's never experienced it before?
You got to see it before you can actually realize what it means to the people of Montana. Someone from California or Texas come up here and be like, oh, okay, they're our rivals, but they don't really get it until they've experienced it. And that's going to be really fun, and I think they get it. So.
Did the rivalry mean a lot to you growing up as a kid?
Yeah. Well, my sister went to the other school, and then I kind of grew up a Bobcat fan, and then all my friends were fans of the other school, so it was always fun, and it definitely means a lot more now that you're a part of it. But when I was growing up, it was definitely fun.
Can you talk about what you've seen from Montana defensively on film so far?
They got a lot of athletes on defense. They're big, long, tall guys who are athletic. Their linebackers are very good players. They're very experienced. They've all been around a long time and played together, and you can see that they're physical. And I think that's what, as an offensive line, we're physical too. So I think it's going to be a very, very good matchup. So.
Last year, they talked a lot about pad level after the game, about how you guys were able to exploit some things that they were doing defensively. Do you see some things like that from them still? Have they shored that up, or do you anticipate some of those pad level advantages that you'll have on offense?
They're not the same defense as they were last year, obviously, and this game is totally different because when you watch film, you're seeing some stuff, and then come Cat-Griz, it's totally different, and that's what you got to expect with any rivalry, really. So we just got to go out and play our game, know what we can do, and
Can you describe just the feeling of what it was like to win that game last year?
Last year that was really fun, being able to do that over there and then come back to Bozeman, bring the trophy back to Bozeman. That was awesome. It was probably one of the highlights of my life and my college career. That's an indescribable feeling. You just don't know until you've done it. So.
When you think about the potential chance of winning a second in a row, I guess how important is that for the program and and just in terms of the rivalry too?
It's huge. We haven't won a game in Bozeman against those guys in 12 years or something like that. So it's going to be huge for the community, huge for the state, and definitely for this program moving forward. And I'd like to be a part of that, be a part of the bringing the trophy, winning the trophy in Bozeman. So it's important.
Talked about this being your last game. You guys, I guess, tasted the playoffs when you were a freshman in 2014. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
So, but that was kind of your last taste. So, is there anything you'd do differently you know, to change how things have gone?
Not really. You know, just things happen the way they did, and you know you can't really do anything about it now. So.
Can you talk about, Coach Choate talked a lot about the fight of this team and how close this season has been, almost every game dragged in the fourth quarter. Can you talk about how you have been able to fight through that and the resiliency that shows from this team?
Yeah, I think it's just because we care about each other so much, you know, and we're never ever going to give up, you know, no matter what the circumstances are, even if we're getting blown out or we're way ahead, we're going to keep fighting for each other and the coaches and our families and the community, and you know, we just have so much motivation, and you know, especially our teammates, you know, you can look your brother right in the eye and say, I'm going to be here for you. So, you know, we all keep our heads up, we all keep swinging, and that's what's able to get us to those games that go down to the fourth quarter and the last minutes of the game. So.
You guys played, you know, very efficiently last year in this game. Do you think it's going to take that same kind of performance on Saturday?
Absolutely. You know, they're a good team. They're a very good team, and you have to capitalize at every single opportunity that you can in order to beat a team like this. We gotta play. We can't. I mean, you can't play a perfect game, but we gotta play near a perfect game. So, yeah.
Montana's currently on the playoff bubble. Are you guys aware of that spoiler role that you were able to play last year, and does that add a little motivation?
Yeah, we knew of it last year, and we know of it this year, and that does add a little motivation, you know. But you know, that ain't the main objective to knock them out of the playoffs. It's to win that game regardless of the circumstances. So.
And Coach Choate mentioned the amount of times they bring pressure frequently. For you guys up front, how much of winning the game is going to be these next few days of being able to identify pressures in practice and the different looks you get?
It's all going to come down to watching film. We have 10 games on these guys, so we're going to watch a lot of film and getting good looks from our scout team, and I think they've done a good job of that all year long. And this week they're going to step it up a notch, and they're going to give us good looks so that we can see those live grabs and really dial in on all the different looks we're going to see.
You and I have talked about how some of your leadership comes from more of a lead by example. Last year, a lot of good leaders on this team, JP, Gunner, Chad, guys like that. Do you feel like you're going to step up in a different role this week vocally, or do you feel like there's some leaders on this team outside of that are going to be able to do that?
You know, I'm just going to be me. Mm-hmm. You know, I can't go out of my comfort zone. I gotta be me, and I think all the leaders on this team are just going to be themselves, and you know, I think it's going to be great. You know, a lot of leaders on this team. A lot of people look up to those leaders, no matter how vocal they are. So I just think everyone's just going to be themselves.
Was it your goal to come here and play football, you know, growing up?
Yeah, definitely. You know, I had dreams of playing college football, and not till I was about middle school was my dream to come play here. So.
Great.
All right.